Greetings, salutations, and bienvenue. My name is Joe Brachetto, and this is Memory Card News for July 24th, 2018. Let's hop right in. Big news, or rumors, I suppose, coming in through the night. This comes from Brad Sams at Thurrott. A few more details about Microsoft Xbox Scarlett game streaming service. So this is a compilation of rumors talking about Xbox's new console, or I guess strategy going into the next console generation, because this talks about how Microsoft has two consoles in production right now. One is more of a traditional, just upgrade to the specs type of deal. I guess like to talk about the conventionality of this proposed first console, we have to talk about the Scarlett Cloud, or the Scarlett Cloud, as one person called it, which is a more expensive console because it has more hardware, but it focuses on streaming, and that extra hardware is to make low latency gaming a thing. So in like the long term, this is actually supposed to be a cheaper console for gamers, because you don't have to buy as many games. You just have to buy these subscription services like Xbox Game Pass. And so this proposed next generation, which will start according to this in like 2020, should act as like a shoulder generation to the full-blown streaming. I've talked about this in my E3 2018 postmortem. I'm going to bring that up every day forever. But I talked about how that's kind of like scary. I'm very much a proponent for, owning your games. I'm very proud of like the collection I have, and just I think the idea of not being able to do that. And I would imagine developers might not be a huge fan either, because I think it might be harder to turn profits that way. And I think it would, temper some fandom of these games. I think like if there isn't necessarily a physical product and you're less tethered to this game, I think games might now have a harder lasting impact. So, I don't know, we'll see. I'm just now realizing I never put up the banner. Shite. Anyways, moving along, I want to talk about this report came from PC Gamer, Tyler Wilde at PC Gamer, about this ex-Valve employee who describes, quote, ruthless internal politics at these self-organizing companies. So the difference between, this is a hierarchical versus kind of flat structure argument is what's going on, but Valve has this flat company structure where, nobody's necessarily like in charge. There isn't like a corporate ladder that you go up. You're just kind of there, you're doing your job, you're being a part of the collective. And this kind of, it sounds like, it takes on a whole Lord of the Flies aspect, is what it sounds like. And he talks about some very terrible business practices. Talks about how this pseudo manager would rag on a physics coder who ended up leaving a couple months later. Things like that. It's like when nobody's in charge, kind of everybody feels like they're in charge, and just what the company would do in terms of hiring and firing and laying off and this, that. He kind of talks about how it's this guy, Geldrich. What's his name? Rich Geldrich. Worked at the company between 2009 and 2014. And I just found this like an interesting story, because you just hear about it's kind of talks about the secrecy of the gaming industry, like to kind of peek back behind the curtain and see, like, especially from big companies like Valve, who dominate so much of the gaming market now with Steam and like with the classic titles like Half-Life and Portal. I don't know. They kind of freak me out. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I thought it was an interesting read. Definitely go over and check it out on PC Gamer if you can. Moving right along, players are hunting down God of War's final secret. This comes from Jonathan Dornbush at IGN, and Ethan Gatch actually wrote on Kotaku about how they might have found this secret. But this was teased at San Diego Comic-Con. I should probably slow down my talking. This was teased at San Diego Comic-Con. A bunch of people from Sony Santa Monica, including Corey Balrog, kind of talking about like, I haven't seen any stories. There's still one more secret, and he kind of pointed the players back to Kratos' home where you start the game. Allegedly, the players, have found the secret, but it seems so like not exciting. Like there isn't much fanfare around it. So players apparently are not satisfied, and they're still looking for this secret. It involves late game spoilers, so I will avoid talking about it for now. And as the story develops, I think I'll take some time in the coming days and talk more specifically about the secret. But I think this is really cool. I love when games hide things from their players, like deep in the lore and the mechanics. GTA has always been really good at that. And this specific event or, hidden secret really does tie into some of the late game revelations. So it is, it's really just cool. And I'm excited for the next one. Like, I have a whole theory. Maybe I should make a video about it, about just where the series is going. And I think it's going to be rad. Anyways, another article from GameIndustry.biz. Staff writer Hayden Taylor. Fortnite daily mobile revenue reaches $2 million. And the launch of Season 5 sets a new record for $3 million revenue in a single day. I mean, I've said it once, I'll say it 1,000 times. Fortnite is massive, and I don't think I need to say that. Like, everybody knows how culturally significant Fortnite is in 2018. But, goddamn, that's like boatloads of cash, and good on you, Epic. That's all I really have for you. Final story today. Esports could be in the Olympics by 2024. This comes from Liz Lanier at Variety. Apparently, associates from the Global Association of the International Sports Federation and the IOC brought together 150 representatives from the esports community, which included, players and teams, and representatives from the gaming industry to kind of talk about the possibility of including esports into the Olympics. And apparently the meeting was more about collaboration and what like the Olympics and esports could collaborate on, not necessarily like, it's not really the prerogative, I guess, of the IOC at this moment to be getting esports into the Olympics. It's not their like highest priority, but it is up there, and it's not surprising. There is a ton of money there. I love this, and of course, anything to kind of advance the medium of gaming. But I'm just gonna say, if esports gets to the Olympics before Ultimate Frisbee, I'll be a little miffed. I get it, and you know what? It's probably gonna happen because there's so much more money in esports than there is Ultimate Frisbee. But come on. I think there's probably going to be an argument about, like, should esports, like, that typical argument, is esports a sport? Are they athletes? And I think it would be appropriate to have esports in the Olympics because the Olympics, to me, is not necessarily about sport, but it's about competition. Kind of like pushing humanity as a race and pushing our physical limits. And I think, like, esports could definitely fit in that definition of it. So, yeah, whether it's a sport and whether they're athletes is a debate for another day. And but the quick answer is yes and no. But that's the way it was for July 24th, 2018. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope you got your fill. If you liked what you're seeing, there's tons more on YouTube. Feel free to like this video, subscribe to the channel, go check out more of our work. And keep your ears to the grindstone. I'll be back tomorrow. Peace.